After getting drunk, I accidentally called customer service, but instead, I dialed the number of my beautiful female boss. After 20 minutes, she seemed a bit impatient. Are you done talking? I want to sleep. Me, you haven't said goodnight to me yet. Boss, good night. I continued to whine, you haven't called me darling yet, boss. The next morning, the boss with a dark face stood in front of my desk. Hua Truman, come to my office for a moment. At 7:30 in the morning, I was woken up by the familiar alarm clock. The fatigue after the hangover hit me, my head spinning, making me wonder if the alcohol I drank last night was fake. What should I do? I don't want to go to work. How about taking a sick leave? I tried to take out my phone, squeezed my voice and called my boss, Tam Chi Van. Hello, boss, I'm sick, cough cough, can I take a sick leave? Cough cough. A snort came from the other end of the line, humph. What is she humping about? Is it because I'm not pretending well enough? I tried to make my nasal voice heavier, my voice weak. Boss, I have a fever, I'm in the hospital now, can I take a sick leave today? Tam Chi Van was silent for 2 seconds, then laughed and said, okay. You're in the hospital now, right? Take a picture and send it to me on WeChat. Yes, cough cough, thank you, boss. I jumped up with joy, quickly searched the internet for a picture of N4 drip, opened WeChat and sent it to the contact named Old Hag. Everything went smoothly. After sending the picture, I looked up, gradually realizing something was wrong. Did I call Tam Chi Van last night? Looking closer, the few lines of messages below made me even more dizzy. Old Hag, are you done talking? I'm sleepy. Me, you haven't said goodnight to your baby yet. Old Hag, good night. I wouldn't let it go, you haven't called me baby yet. Old Hag. My head buzzed, as if it was about to explode. Oh my God. What did I do last night? Wait a minute, Tam Chi Van knows I went drinking last night, so doesn't that mean my fake illness has been exposed? At this moment, I came to my senses and hurriedly pressed withdraw. Unfortunately, it was too late. Old Hag sent a message, you're really sick. Which hospital are you at? I'll come visit you. I wanted to cry but had no tears, no need, I suddenly feel completely fine, all my illnesses are gone. Oh. So are you still taking a leave of absence? No, no need. If you don't come to the company in an hour, consider yourself voluntarily resigning. Damn it. What the hell is going on? I didn't even eat breakfast, rushing to the company before 8:30. As soon as I sat down, I looked up and saw Tam Chi Van coming in from outside. As she passed by me, she turned her head slightly, throwing me a puzzled look. Like, looking at an idiot. I covered my face, lowered my head and didn't look at her, pretending to focus on my work. After Tam Chi Van left, my good brother Tron Dung patted me on the shoulder. Did I see wrong? The boss just looked at you. What's going on between you two? Thinking about how I kept insisting on her calling me baby last night, I couldn't help but blush. Tron Dung saw me blushing, further confirming that there was something between us, and insisted that I tell the truth, so I had to tell the truth. Last night, I went drinking with old classmates, bragging about having a beautiful girlfriend. They didn't believe me, and made me call her. I was so drunk, I was going to call the mobile operator, but I ended up dialing her number by mistake. I even made her call me baby and say goodnight to me. Thinking about this oolong, my guts were about to burst. Before going to the gathering, the mobile company called me and told me to upgrade my package. I thought the money had already been spent, so it wouldn't be too much to help me lie a little, right? So I flipped to the first call in the call log and directly called back. But who would have thought that Tam Chi Van also called me? I was too drunk to answer, and I ended up calling her by mistake. Ha 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 ha. Tron Dung's bell-like laughter rang out in the corner of the room. So did she call you that? I glared at him. Call your sister. That old hag, if she really called me baby, I would wake up from my dreams. Thinking about the way she just looked at me, I felt goosebumps. Tron Dung seemed to sense it too. He laughed less, his body trembled slightly. His whole body turned to stone, only his 2 eyebrows twitched unnaturally on his face. A cold air spread from behind. I suddenly had a bad feeling. Old hag? A familiar voice rang out. I slowly turned around. Tam Chi Van had been standing behind me at some point, her eyes cold as if she wanted to eat me alive. Boss, why are you here? Ha ha ha. I scratched the ground with my feet, a forced smile on my face, even uglier than crying. Tam Chi Van glared at me and took out her phone to dial a number. 2 seconds later, my phone rang, the caller, old hag. She glanced at my phone screen, her cheeks flushed with anger. Then she hung up and made another WeChat voice call. My phone lit up again, with a WeChat voice call notification, old hag requesting a chat. Tam Chi Van was completely furious, gnashing her teeth at me. Hua Benin. You. She had only said half of what she wanted to say when Tam Chi Van's phone suddenly rang. She answered the phone and pointed at me, saying, Hua Benin, come to my office for a moment. After saying that, she angrily left the office. I shivered. It's over. I'm probably going to lose my job. Tam Chi Van left for about half an hour. I sat in her office waiting. During that time, I even wrote a resignation letter by hand. I don't want to stay in this lousy company for another second. But having decided to leave, there was no need to endure any longer. I secretly made up my mind that when Tam Chi Van came back, would give her a good scolding, then throw the resignation letter in her face and leave decisively. Just thinking about it made me feel good. While I was thinking, the office door creaked open. Tam Chi Van strode in and sat down on the chair opposite me. Do you have anything you want to say? Tam Chi Van crossed her legs, leisurely admiring her slender fingers and her newly done nails, throwing me a slightly teasing look. I took a deep breath and stood up and said, I'm not doing it anymore. I want to resign. Resign? Tam Chi Van turned the diamond watch on her wrist. Are you sure? I stared at her. Of course I was sure. If I didn't leave now, would I wait for her to make things difficult for me? Of course I'm sure. Whoever wants this stupid job can have it. Overtime every day, who can stand it? Because of work, I have no time to date. I can't even take sick leave. Is there any humanity? After saying that, I directly threw the resignation notice on the desk. Look carefully, this is a resignation notice. According to labor law, after 30 days, I can automatically resign. It's useless even if you don't agree. Also, my salary and bonus must not be missing a penny, otherwise I will sue you in labor court. I raised my chin and looked down at her from above, with the expression of a villain who had achieved his goal. After more than 5 years of being a beast of burden, I finally got to hold my head high today. I'm proud. Tam Chi Van's eyes paused. She picked up my resignation notice and read, The small temple loves the big wind. The shallow water has many turtles. Goodbye. Hua Benin, is this your resignation notice? Being asked like that by her, I couldn't help but feel guilty. Why is it not allowed? Tam Chi Van snorted softly. Hua Benin, do you know what the company meeting is about today? I blurted out, what does that have to do with me? I don't want to do it anymore anyway. Oh, really? A sly glint flashed in Tam Chi Van's eyes. Hua Benin, considering your excellent performance recently, the company's leadership has unanimously decided to promote you to Deputy General Manager of the company. But now you want to resign, so I have to reconsider. What? Promotion and raise. You're not trying to make things difficult for me, are you? I was completely shocked. Tam Chi Van sighed. I've always been fair, your business ability is clear to everyone, promotion is sooner or later. But if you don't want it. She tapped her fingers lightly on the table and pointed to the resignation notice on the table. I immediately panicked and reached out to take it back, but she was quicker and took it away. Tam Chi Van picked up a pen and signed her name decisively, then handed the resignation notice to me. Hua Benin, congratulations on your resignation. No need to wait 30 days, you can leave today. After saying that, she came to my side, patted me on the shoulder, and smiled slyly. Remember to invite everyone to a farewell dinner tonight. Oh my God. What have I done? My eyes widened, and I almost fainted on the spot. After I came to my senses, I took the stupid resignation notice and racked my brains for a way to save the situation. Tam Chi Van saw me standing still and turned her head to ask, "Still not leaving? Waiting for me to invite you to lunch?" I shrunk my head and neck like a quail, shamelessly trying to explore. "Boss, can I not leave?" "I'm not your boss, I'm a turtle," Tam Chi Van said coldly. Wow, she still holds a grudge. I smiled flatteringly, my face thick to the end. No, how could you be a turtle? You are a beautiful female president. Tam Chi Van frowned, her eyes softened a little. Then explain to me what old hag means. I muttered in my heart, what else could it mean? Of course it means you're old and hateful. Tam Chi Van seemed to sense it. Her eyes turned cold again. I immediately panicked and grinned flatteringly. Old is an honorific, meaning you are virtuous and prestigious. Hag is praising you for being cool. 666. Dang means the peak. Putting it all together, it means you are a virtuous and prestigious person, beautiful and intelligent, with extremely cool abilities and unlimited future. After saying that, I gave her a thumbs up, using the most sincere tone to talk nonsense. Really? Tam Chi Van gave me a skeptical look, the corners of her mouth twitching as if she was trying to hold back a laugh. I nodded firmly. That's right, you are my idol. Tam Chi Van coughed lightly, trying to suppress her smile. Okay, consider yourself passing the test, go to work. So, promotion and raise? I raised my eyebrows at her. She glanced at me indifferently and said calmly, don't worry, you won't miss out. Go and hand over the work to Deputy General Manager Zhang first, get familiar with the business. Yes. Mission accomplished. After leaving Tam Chi Van's office, I was busy handing over work, and it was soon evening. Sure enough, overtime is the fate of office workers. While I was lamenting my fate, my phone rang. It was my mother calling. Hua Benin, where are you now? I told you this morning, after work, go have dinner with the blind date. You haven't forgotten, have you? My head buzzed, damn it. I really forgot. But it's past 8 o'clock now, is it still in time? Or should I just make up an excuse not to go? Before I could say anything, my mother's gentle voice came from the other end of the line. Hua Benin, this blind date is the daughter of my colleague. If you don't go, don't come home tonight. Damn it. There's no escape, I can only grit my teeth and go. Just as I stood up and was about to leave, Tam Chi Van appeared in front of me at some point. She saw me looking in the mirror and adjusting my tie, and asked, I remember you don't have any clients to meet today, so what's going on? Are you going on a date with a girl? I looked at the clock, it was almost late, I had no time to pay attention to the capitalist, and blurted out, yeah, my mom arranged a blind date for me. Tam Chi Van's eyes darkened, as if she was a little unhappy. Where are you going? It's funny, I have to report to her where I'm going. She's not my girlfriend. I was a little annoyed, but thinking about the promotion and raise, I still answered honestly, I'm going to Dai Viet Thanh. I'm going there too, let me give you a ride. Huh? She's going to Dai Viet Thanh too? What a coincidence. While waiting for the elevator, I stood next to her. her white fingers poking the button a few times. She seemed a little nervous. Occasionally, a few colleagues working overtime passed by and saw the two of us avoiding them, even covering their mouths and not knowing what they were talking about. The atmosphere was a bit awkward, and there seemed to be a bit of ambiguity. I coughed twice and suddenly asked on impulse, "What are you doing at Dai Diet Tan?" Tam Chi Van's hand that was pressing the elevator button paused, her voice as cold as 1,000-year-old ice. "Going to eat, is that not allowed?" "Oh." I scratched my head and answered awkwardly. Tam Chi Van drove me to Dai Diet Tan. The car drove into the underground parking lot. I got out of the car and took the elevator. Tam Chi Van actually followed behind. Then she even entered the same restaurant as me. I stared at her blankly and pointed to the restaurant sign and asked, "You're here to eat? Are you sure you're not mistaken?" Tam Chi Van glanced at me. "Is that not allowed?" After saying that, she stepped on her high heels and strode in, attracting the attention of many gentlemen around. She came alone to eat at a restaurant for lovers with an average price of 500 yuan per person. I felt that there must be something wrong with her brain. Tam Chi Van found a seat by the window. I didn't look at her. I looked around for my blind date today. My mother said it was a neighbor girl with a sweet appearance, who liked to wear pink dresses. I glanced and identified the target, and walked over. "Hello, may I ask if you are Miss Ha?" I came to the girl's table and asked politely. "Yes, that's me." She heard the voice and looked up, put away the book she was reading, and smiled at me. The moment the dimple was revealed, I felt my heart being attacked by 10,000 points of sweetness. This time, my mom was right. I couldn't help but blush, my hands flustered and not knowing where to put them, thinking that I was late. The other party must be unhappy, and hurriedly explained, "Sorry, Miss Ha, the road was blocked so I was a little late. I made you wait a long time." She opened her phone to check the time, her expression gentle. "It's okay, I just arrived too. You're busy with work. It's understandable to be a little late. Also, you can just call me Ha Bang. She's so understanding. Can we get married on the spot?" After finishing the meal, I felt extremely close to her and wanted to get to know her better, so I offered to take her home. She didn't refuse either, nodding shyly. I considerately helped Ha Bang carry her bag, and was about to leave when a familiar figure passed by, blocking my view. I looked up. It was Tam Chi Van. She still hasn't left? What is she up to? The atmosphere immediately became awkward. Ha Bang looked at her, then looked at me, her eyes filled with doubt. "Mr. Hua, may I ask who this is?" She is old. Being asked like that by her, I don't know why I felt guilty, stammering and unable to speak, finally unable to say the last few words. "Wife, right? Mr. Hua, I never thought you would be this kind of person." Ha Bang glared at me, quickly snatched her bag from my hand, and even scolded me as a scumbag as she left, making everyone around me look at me with contempt. Just like the scene of an affair being caught by the wife. No, I wanted to say boss. Boss. I watched Ha Bang's back disappear, wanting to cry but having no tears. My first love after 29 years of being single, just like that, was strangled by Tam Chi Van. Capitalists are so hateful. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I simply went to Tam Chi Van's seat and devoured the dishes she had barely touched. My girlfriend was ruined by her too. If I didn't eat something to make up for it, I would lose so much. Thinking of this, I called the waiter and without hesitation ordered a few of the most expensive dishes and a bottle of foreign wine, intending to take revenge on my newly dead love by eating Tam Chi Van into bankruptcy. Tam Chi Van sat down opposite me, resting her chin on her hand and looking at me. Under her long eyelashes, her beautiful eyes were sparkling, and there seemed to be a bit of cuteness. The eating and drinking movement suddenly stopped. I was surprised by my own thoughts. Why do I find her cute? The way she is now, she must be up to no good. Hua Benan. Huh? Take me home. Huh? I choked, and after reacting, I raised my fist in protest. Tam Chi Van, it's after work now, why should I take you home? Don't you have an assistant? Let her take you. She snorted coldly, her jade-white fingers holding a spoon, stirring the coffee in front of her, her tone of voice not allowing any refutation. Xiao Wan is not here, you are an employee of the company anyway, I want you to take me. After saying that, she pointed her finger at me. If you dare not take me, I will deduct your salary. Damn it. Capitalists are so hateful. For the sake of my salary, I still compromised, but before leaving, I took the unopened bottle of foreign wine, considering it as overtime pay. Tam Chi Van still maintained her usual ladle-like attitude, and even asked me to open the door for her when she got in the car. I was already annoyed, being ordered around by her like this. I was even more angry, and didn't give her a good look all the way. The atmosphere fell into a strange silence again. After a few minutes, Tam Chi Van spoke first. She looked out the window and asked as if unintentionally, "You're angry that I ruined your blind date?" I snorted coldly and gritted my teeth. Humph, what do you think? Tam Chi Van pouted, her voice carrying a hint of grievance. I didn't say I was your wife. She misunderstood it herself. Why blame me? Besides, your taste in women isn't that great either. She's not even as pretty as me. I raised my head and looked in the rearview mirror. Tam Chi Van was sitting in the back seat wearing an expensive business suit, her shirt collar slightly open, revealing her delicate collarbone. Her hot figure was tightly wrapped by the clothes, her long, naturally curly hair flowing down, revealing her fair and smooth skin, adding to the charm of a mature woman. It seems like she's right. Tam Chi Van is indeed very beautiful. I still remember when I first joined the company, the few male students who came with me were all fascinated by her, and there were people pursuing her relentlessly. As a result, after pursuing her for a few days, they were slapped in the face. Someone revealed that she was the daughter of the company's boss, scaring those young men to resign overnight. Later, the boss and his wife went traveling around the world, leaving the entire company to Tam Chi Van. She worked decisively, only caring about efficiency, and not showing favoritism to anyone, so gradually no one dared to have any designs on her, and even secretly gave her many nicknames. But what does she mean by saying that now? Could it be that she likes me? I looked at Tam Chi Van's delicate makeup in the rearview mirror, wanting to open my mouth to ask her, but the words reached my mouth, but I couldn't say them. I could only drive silently all the way. The car drove into the high-end residential area where Tam Chi Van lived. I got out of the car and opened the door for her. I've taken you home. Can I go back now? Tam Chi Van raised her hand to look at her wristwatch and said slowly, "It's so late. It's not safe for you to go home alone. Why don't I take you back?" What the hell? Although I'm handsome, I'm still a man. What danger could I possibly encounter? I stared, surprised by her strange behavior, and blurted out, "Are you sick?" As soon as the words left my mouth, Tam Chi Van's face visibly darkened. She stood under the streetlight, arms crossed over her chest, and said arrogantly, "What did you say?" Huh? I was scared again, shrinking my neck and saying, "I'm the one who's sick. I'm really sick." I actually thought Tam Chi Van would like me. She just wanted to take the opportunity to torture me, to take revenge for the name Old Hag. I should have just resigned. Tam Chi Van looked at me with a satisfied expression, raised her hand and threw the car keys to me. "You can drive my car home." I was once again surprised. "Then how will you go to work tomorrow?" Tam Chi Van turned to leave, heard what I said, turned back again, raised her neck and said calmly, "I don't only have one car." My God. The world of the rich is beyond my comprehension. I drove Tam Chi Van's luxury car home. As soon as I stopped the car, Aunt Tran, the neighbor, came over and asked, "Oh, Xiao Hua, when did you buy a Bentley? You're so capable." I waved my hand awkwardly. "It's not my car, it's someone else's." Aunt Tran clicked her tongue in surprise. Who would lend you such an expensive car? She thought for a moment, then covered her mouth and laughed, with an expression of, I understand, it's your girlfriend's car, right? I was just about to explain that it wasn't, when I saw Aunt Tran smile and walk away. She hadn't gone a few steps when she met an acquaintance, and I only heard her say to that person, let me tell you, that son of old Hua in building number 6 is dating a very rich girlfriend. She gave him a Bentley. Me? A few days later, the whole neighborhood knew that I was in love, and there were even several different versions. Even my mother pulled me aside and asked, Shaowen, why didn't you tell me you were in love? Knowing you have a girlfriend, I wouldn't have introduced you to anyone. I hurriedly corrected her, Mom, don't listen to their nonsense. There's nothing like that. My mom smiled and looked at me. Why are you being shy? Aunt Tran told me. She saw with her own eyes that person taking you home. What the hell? Slander. She's slandering me. Before I could object, I heard my mom continue, Shaowen, why didn't you tell me you already have a girlfriend? I'll help you reject the blind date. We can't two-time people. I suddenly felt the world spinning, so angry that I almost fainted. My love just disappeared like that. The next day at work, I was more aggrieved than a ghost, and even glared at Tam Chi Van a few times during the work report. Tam Chi Van didn't understand why, and after the meeting ended, she called me into her office. Do you have any opinions about me? Tam Chi Van looked up at me. I rarely stood up for myself, raising my neck and replying, thanks to you, I broke up. Oh, really? The smile in Tam Chi Van's eyes flashed and then disappeared. Then isn't that good? Focus all your energy on work. Don't think about nonsense all the time. I muttered, good my ass, compensate me with a girlfriend. She did such a bad thing, at least she should reward me with 1,000 yuan as compensation, right? If that's really not possible, a box of sugar tangerines would do. I looked at her with longing eyes. She suddenly stood up, sat on the desk in front of me, her long legs gently rubbing against my trouser legs, and her eyes lit up with a smile. It's just a girlfriend, I'll compensate you. Me, question mark. She wants to introduce me to someone. Is she kidding me? If she doesn't want to give me sugar tangerines, just say it directly. I angrily left the office and ignored her all day. Who would have thought that when it was time to get off work, Tam Chi Van would appear in front of my desk again, her white fingers tapping lightly on the table twice. I immediately understood her meaning, glanced at her, and said in a bad tone, Miss, I'm not free to take you home today. She winked at me, not free? Are you going on another blind date? When it came to blind dates, I couldn't control my anger and directly scolded, you dare to mention it. I've been single for 29 years. I was finally about to get rid of my single status, and you ruined it. Not only that, but my mom also stopped introducing me to people because of her. Tam Chi Van even makes me work overtime every day. Where can I go to meet other girls? The more I thought about it, the more aggrieved I felt, so I quickly packed up my things and was about to go out. Hey, Hua Benin, I'll admit I was wrong. Tam Chi Van grabbed my arm, her eyes full of sincerity. How about I take you home today, as an apology, okay? Outside the window, the drizzle fell, and I fell into deep thought. Taking a taxi from the company to my house costs 40 yuan, but riding with Tam Chi Van is free, and there's even Coca-Cola to drink in her car. What a bargain. It's her fault anyway. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go quickly. Tam Chi Van drove me downstairs. As soon as we got out of the car, I saw my mother holding an umbrella standing in front of the building entrance. She looked at me, then at Tam Chi Van, and smiled. Shaowen, who is this? Your girlfriend? I was just about to deny it when Tam Chi Van spoke first. Hello auntie, I'm Tam Chi Van, I'm Hua Benan's colleague. You can just call me Xiao Van. My mom suddenly understood and greeted her enthusiastically. Xiao Van, come in, have dinner at home before you go back. I hurriedly pinched my mom's arm and whispered a reminder, "Mom. She's my boss." My mom's eyes lit up. "Such a beautiful boss, then you have to seize the opportunity." I fainted. Under my mom's enthusiastic invitation, Tam Chi Van swaggered into my house. At the dinner table, my mom kept putting food on Tam Chi Van's plate while asking about her family and financial situation. She completely ignored my coughs and suggestive looks. Tam Chi Van, on the other hand, seemed completely unfazed, answering every question. She practically recited her entire ID card number to my mom. After 3 rounds of drinks, my dad got a little drunk, raised his glass in a daze, and said to Tam Chi Van, "Xiao Van, I like you at first sight. Come on, have 2 drinks." I was startled and hurriedly stopped him. "Dad. You're confused, she's a girl." My dad was drunk and his vision was blurry. So what if she's a girl? In my hometown, girls can drink 2 bottles in 1 meal. I was a little worried. I didn't really know Tam Chi Van's alcohol tolerance. Before, when the company was negotiating projects, it was always the subordinates who took the drinks for her. She only symbolically took 2 sips. My dad, on the other hand, doesn't know when to stop. Is this okay? Before I could refuse, Tam Chi Van whooshed up, raised her glass and said, "Uncle is right. Who says girls can't drink? I'm also 1,000 cups not drunk in my hometown. Today I'll definitely drink with you to our heart's content. Come on, cheers." I covered my face and sighed, what the hell is going on? After 3 rounds of drinks, I went to the bathroom for a while, and when I came out, I saw Tam Chi Van collapsed on the table. My mom saw this and pinched my dad's ear. "You old fool. Who told you to get her drunk? What if something happens to your future daughter-in-law?" My face, swish, turned red, and I didn't have time to explain. I helped Tam Chi Van out. I had to take her home right away. If I let her stay at my house, I really wouldn't be able to explain it. My mom helped me get her into the car and waved goodbye with a smile. "Call me when you get home." The car drove into the underground parking lot of Tam Chi Van's house. I helped her upstairs, and finally used her fingerprint to unlock the door. After entering the house, I put Tam Chi Van on the sofa, and was about to leave when a pair of hands wrapped around my neck. I turned around to see Tam Chi Van looking at me with blurred eyes. She tilted her head, her face flushed as she looked at me and smiled. Who are you? Why are you so handsome?" After saying that, she started pinching my cheeks. I took her hands away, but she restlessly touched other places. This, who can stand this? My face flushed, and with the hand speed of 29 years of being single, I quickly pushed her onto the sofa. Just as I was about to leave, she held her head and let out an ouch. It seemed like she had hit her head. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" I instinctively reached out to support her head, but my wrist was grabbed tightly by her. Her entire body pressed against me, leaning her head on my shoulder, her warm breath blowing on my ear, carrying a slight smell of alcohol. It was like a feather gently caressing my skin, making my heart itch. A familiar female voice came from my ear, but it was different from usual, soft and gentle. Didn't you say you wanted me to compensate you? Then I'll give myself to you. Do you want it?" I was slightly stunned, my back stiffened, not daring to move. "Hey, why aren't you saying anything? Don't you want me?" She lowered her eyes, as if there was an unspeakable grievance. "If you don't want me, I'll deduct your salary." As soon as she finished speaking, she unbuttoned the top button of her shirt, revealing her fair collarbone. Her porcelain white face was flushed, and a smile overflowed from the corners of her eyes, sweetness appearing on her face. I tried to suppress the urge to have a nosebleed and tried to stay calm. "Sexy, this is blatant seduction. Who can resist this? Mom, I want to go home." My face flushed, and I tried to push her away. She pulled me back again, her hands wrapped around my neck, her whole body leaning softly against me. as if she was dissatisfied, pouting. Hua Benin, are you trying to do something bad? Me. She glared at me, pulled out one hand, and traced a circle on my chest with her index finger. You just want to do something bad. Don't think I don't know. I'm telling you, no. Even though I towards you. You, how do you feel towards me? My heart was racing, and I was actually looking forward to her next words. Ugh. Oh my god. Tam Chi Van actually threw up all over me. Help. I have a cleanliness disorder. After throwing up, Tam Chi Van fell asleep as if nothing had happened. I was so angry that I wanted to kick her a couple of times, but then I thought about it again and let it go. I sighed, carried her to the bed in the master bedroom, carefully covered her with a blanket, and let her sleep peacefully. After doing all this, I lowered my head and smelled the clothes on my body. They were sour and smelly, even my pants had a little bit on them. I really couldn't stand it. I had no choice but to take off my clothes and pants and wash them, leaving only my underwear on. Fortunately, Tam Chi Van's house had a dryer, so I quickly dried my clothes. At this time, Tam Chi Van must be sound asleep, but to be safe, I still tiptoed into the bathroom, locked the door, and prepared to change clothes. The bathroom was pitch black. I reached out to turn on the light, but was stunned by the scene in front of me. At this moment, Tam Chi Van had already taken off her clothes and turned on the hot water to prepare for a bath. I froze, holding my clothes and standing there stupidly. A scream as loud as a boiling kettle came from my ear. She hurriedly grabbed the towel to cover herself and took the shower head to spray water on my face. Hua Benin. Why are you in my house? Get out. Me, why am I at her house? I don't know either. After coming back to my senses, I screamed and tried to rush out of the bathroom, but when I reached the door, I found that I couldn't open it. Damn it. How did I lock it just now? In my panic, a slender white hand reached out and gently turned the doorknob. At this moment, Tam Chi Van had put on her pajamas, raised her head high, and looked at me with her hands on her hips, her cheeks puffed out like a full hamster. Hua Benin. Explain to me why you are in my house. Her eyes moved down, stopping on my body, her face flushing red, and you're not wearing clothes. What are you trying to do? I instinctively covered my important parts, and then I reacted. No, I'm still wearing underwear, right? Is she sober now and pretending not to know me? I turned my head away, not daring to look at her, my face flushed red. Thinking about it, I didn't do anything wrong, why should I be afraid of her? So I gathered up my courage and retorted, that should be my question. I kindly took you home, but you pulled me and wouldn't let me go, and you even threw up all over me. I didn't have any clothes to wear, so I could only do this. She frowned and looked at me suspiciously, really? It seems like she really has amnesia, but seeing her trying hard to remember but failing, I couldn't help but have a mischievous thought, wanting to tease her. Ahem, someone just said they wanted to compensate me with themselves. Tam Chi Van widened her eyes and blushed again. Really? I pretended to be serious and coughed twice. Of course it's true, why would I lie to you? She didn't say anything, tilted her head to look at me, her foxy eyes narrowed slightly, and there was a small mole under the corner of her eye, just like a charming beauty in a painting, captivating. I was staring blankly. She suddenly stood on tiptoe and kissed me on the cheek. I took a deep breath, my mind suddenly went blank. Tam Chi Van, what are you doing? Her face flushed red, and she arrogantly snorted, poking my chest with her finger. You saw everything, aren't you going to take responsibility? Hua Benin, are you a man? Take responsibility? I saw you too, aren't you going to take responsibility? She narrowed her eyes and chuckled, well, that's fine too. Hua Benin, this lady will take responsibility for you. Consider yourself stamped. From now on, you are my boyfriend. What? What kind of plot is this? The domineering female CEO falls in love with me? And it's the kind of forced possession? Before I could react, a pair of hands wrapped around my neck again. Her soft lips covered mine, warm and smooth, like cotton candy. My breath stopped, and I instinctively leaned against the wall. She let out a dissatisfied hum, pulled my hand over, and placed it on her waist. The thread of reason in my head snapped, and I lost all sense of reason, holding her tightly in my arms and responding passionately. The sound of running water came from the bathroom, mixed with hot gasps, lingering for a long time. After the passion subsided, my reason gradually returned, but Tam Chi Van kept complaining of a headache. I had no choice but to carry her to bed. Tam Chi Van, after getting drunk, was like a kitten, constantly whining and refusing to let me go. After much difficulty coaxing her onto the bed, she held my hand tightly, saying she was afraid of the dark and wouldn't let me leave. All right, my girlfriend, what can I do? I'll just coax her. I held her in my arms, patted her back, and tried to coax her to sleep. Tam Chi Van leaned obediently against me, rubbing against me a couple of times, and soon fell asleep. I gently placed her on the bed and sat on the edge of the bed, admiring her sleeping face. She was as beautiful as a ragdoll cat, her long eyelashes casting a faint shadow under her eyes, and she pursed her lips in her sleep, looking very cute, far from the cold and stern businesswoman she was during the day. I couldn't help but smile, smiling and smiling again, but a faint sadness rose in my heart. Tam Chi Van's words to me still echoed in my ears. She said she wanted me to be her boyfriend. Was it true? Thinking back on the years we spent together, it would be a lie to say I wasn't moved. But Tam Chi Van was too dazzling, making me think she was someone I couldn't reach. So, I tried my best to work hard, thinking that even if I couldn't be with her, at least I could let her see me. Then, year after year, Tam Chi Van still didn't see me, and I finally put away this feeling, just wanting to focus on work. But now, she took the initiative to confess to me, making me both excited and scared. I was afraid that she was just talking nonsense after getting drunk, afraid that in the end, I was just wishful thinking. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but sigh, gently pinched her cheek, carefully tucked her in, and got up to go to the guest room. The next morning, I walked out of the guest room in a daze and saw Tam Chi Van standing in front of the dining table, wearing an apron, with the dining table full of breakfast dishes. My jaw dropped in surprise. I didn't expect this wealthy young lady to know how to cook. When I looked at her, Tam Chi Van seemed a bit flustered, hiding her hands behind her back. It was then that I noticed the lunchbox that hadn't been cleaned up on the table and assistant Xiao Wang trying to sneak out. Tam Chi Van stuck out her tongue and said awkwardly, "I wanted to surprise you, but I didn't expect you to wake up so early." I was filled with emotion, wanting to pull her into my arms and give her a good kiss, but as soon as I looked up, I saw Xiao Wang looking at us with a probing look. She looked at Tam Chi Van, then at me, her eyes full of meaning, and even nodded. I immediately felt a sense of foreboding. What is she imagining? It's not what you think. There's nothing between me and her. Do you believe me? I hurriedly explained. As soon as I finished speaking, Tam Chi Van pulled me into her arms and rubbed my nose with her finger. "Little rascal, hurry up and eat, we're going to be late for work." Xiao Wang stared at us with wide eyes, stunned for a moment, and then said, "Tam Zong, then I'll go first." Tam Chi Van ed, her eyes signaling her to leave quickly. "No. Listen to my explanation." Before I could finish speaking, Xiao Wang had already run away. "Oh no. This is a big misunderstanding." I hurriedly shook Tam Chi Van's arm and said anxiously, "Quickly explain to her, we didn't do anything." Tam Chi Van pursed her lips, unhappy. "Explain what? Don't you want to take responsibility for me?" I was speechless. Under my strong request, Tam Chi Van finally compromised and called Xiao Wang, telling her to keep it a secret for us. On the way to work, Tam Chi Van was silent and seemed unhappy. After I asked her a few times, she finally confessed, "Hua Benin, am I really your girlfriend?" I nodded. "Of course, why do you ask?" Her eyes reddened, and her voice was filled with grievance. "Then why don't you want to make our relationship public?" I was stunned and subconsciously lowered my head. Everything happened so fast, and I still don't understand why a girl as outstanding as Tam Chi Van would like me. Is it just because I work hard? Moreover, we are not from the same social class. Maybe she's just playing with me. I sighed in my heart and made up a reason. "Tam Chi Van, I think our progress is a bit fast. Besides, I'm about to get promoted. I'm afraid that if we make our relationship public now, people will think I'm relying on connections to climb up, which is not good for both of us." She lowered her head in thought, her nails tapping on the steering wheel, and finally nodded. "What you said makes sense, but there's one thing that's not right." I was puzzled. "What's not right?" She hooked her finger at me and smiled mischievously. "Come here, I'll whisper it to you." I leaned closer with half belief. Who would have thought that she would suddenly hug my neck and kiss my cheek? Her warm breath blew on my ear, and she smiled, gently biting my earlobe. "You're still calling me by my name? Shouldn't you be calling me baby?" The memory of the drunken night came flooding back. My face flushed red. I pushed her away and ran away. Tam Chi Van grabbed me and made me call her baby 99 times, and finally we reached an agreement to temporarily keep our relationship a secret. To avoid suspicion, I ran to the company first. After turning on the computer and pretending to work for a while, Tam Chi Van slowly walked in. As she passed by me, she even glanced at me with a knowing smile. I swallowed and continued to pretend to be working hard. She smiled faintly, ignored me, and went straight into her office. This feeling, why does it feel like we're having an affair? While I was staring at the computer screen in a daze, I heard colleagues talking. Why is the Snake Beauty so radiant today? Is she in love? She's a workaholic. How could she be in love? At most, she just closed a deal. No, look at the red mark on her neck. There's definitely something going on. Tran Dung said while patting my shoulder. "Hua Benin, am I right?" I was feeling guilty, and when he patted me, I jumped up in shock. Tran Dung looked at me in surprise. "You're strange today too? Did you eat firecrackers? You jumped so high with just a pat." "No, I just don't agree with your point of view." I coughed twice, trying to hide my nervousness. "She's a girl, don't give her such a nickname. It's not nice to hear." Several people looked at each other, then looked at me suspiciously. After confirming that I wasn't sick, they tacitly ignored me and started to change the subject. Okay, let's not talk about Tam Chi Van anymore. I heard there's a new employee in our department, named Lam Thursday Y. She's very beautiful. My fingers holding the pen trembled. Lam Thursday Y. Is it the Lam Thursday Y I know? Lam Thursday Y and I lived in the same alley. You could say we grew up together. At that time, our families were both poor, but our academic performance was excellent. In high school, I was directly admitted to Tsinghua University because of an award in a math competition. Lam Thursday Y said she admired me very much and asked me to tutor her. But when I went to her house, I discovered something unusual. There was no one at her house. Lam Thursday Y came out of the bedroom, wearing only a thin lace nightgown. She walked up to me and smiled. "Brother Benin, I also want to be directly admitted to Tsinghua University, but my ability is not enough. What should I do?" I turned my head away, not looking at her, and was about to go out. "If your ability is not enough, then study hard. Why are you looking for me?" "That, I still have things to do. I'll leave the reference books on the table. You can read them yourself." I was about to leave, but she stopped me at the door. She seemed angry, her chest heaving. "Hua Benin, do you think you can still escape? Could it be that with so many years of childhood friendship, you won't help me?" I sighed helplessly. "Then tell me, How do you want me to help you? She took out a photo ID from her bag. In the photo was a young girl with clear, sparkling foxy eyes. When she smiled, she revealed 2 small canine teeth, radiant and beautiful. This girl is my competitor. I definitely can't beat her. You find a way to deal with her. I don't care what you do to her. Just make sure she doesn't come to the competition. If you help me with this, you can have whatever you want. It was only then that I understood her meaning, and I was shocked in my heart. I didn't expect that the seemingly harmless girl next door would harbor such evil intentions. I was furious, tore up the photo, and threw it in the trash can. Lamb Thursday. Why? I will pretend that what happened today never happened. But I warn you, don't have any evil thoughts, otherwise the only one who will get hurt is yourself. After saying that, I glared at her and slammed the door and left. I thought everything was over, but I didn't expect that one day after school, while passing by a small alley, I heard a girl's cry for help. I rushed over and saw 3 or 4 thugs surrounding a girl. The girl's uniform was thrown on the ground, the books in her bag were scattered, she was kneeling on the ground, being grabbed by the hair and slapped. After slapping her, the 2 men looked at each other and dragged her deeper into the alley. I was furious and rushed in to fight them. In the chaos, I snatched an iron rod from them, broke one of their legs, and took the opportunity to rescue the girl. I pulled her and ran for a long distance, and it was only when we stopped to rest that I realized that this girl was the one Lamb Thursday Y had told me to deal with. Perhaps because I refused, she was not reconciled, so she found those thugs. Thinking of the good relationship between our 2 families, I didn't report Lamb Thursday Y, but just took the frightened girl home. But I didn't expect that the thug would falsely accuse me of breaking his leg and ask the school to expel me. To protect myself, I had to tell the whole story about Lamb Thursday Y, but the thug insisted that he didn't know Lamb Thursday Y, and there was no evidence that they had bullied the foxy-eyed girl. In the end, I was convicted of disturbing public order and fighting and injuring others, and was fined 200,000 yuan to avoid going to jail. Later, the father of the foxy-eyed girl helped me pay this money. But I was also affected by this incident. My direct admission was revoked. A major demerit was recorded in my student file. I was transferred from Class A to Class H, and was isolated by teachers and classmates in the school. In the end, I only got into an ordinary university. After that incident, I realized that the world is not fair. If you don't have absolute strength, blindly being a hero will only harm yourself. So, from then on, I was cautious in everything I did, weighing the pros and cons, and no longer causing trouble for others. But when I heard the name, Lamb Thursday Y, again, my fists still clenched involuntarily. She dared to come back and appear in front of me. If it's really her, don't blame me for being unkind. Is the Lamb Thursday Y you guys just talked about really that beautiful? Do you have a picture? I suppressed my anger and calmly asked. No need to bother, am I not standing right in front of you? Hearing the voice, I looked up and saw a woman in a black suspender dress walking in. She came up to me and pretended to take off her sunglasses, reaching out to me. Hua Benin, long time no see. I ignored her. She awkwardly retracted her hand and began to mock me. After so many years, I didn't expect you to still be as stubborn as a donkey. No wonder you don't have a girlfriend. After saying that, she even disdainfully flicked the sticky note on my desk. It seems you're not doing so well either. I didn't hold back either and retorted directly. Lamb Thursday Y, I remember you're a new employee, right? New employees should act like new employees. From now on, buying coffee and printing documents in the office will be your job. You have no objections, right? She seemed to hear something funny and shook her head inside. Hua Benin, do you know your own status? You're just a small manager, and you dare to talk to me like that. I advise you to flatter me a little, otherwise I'll make you pack up and leave immediately. After saying that, she mocked me a few more times and then swaggered away. I angrily threw the mouse on the table and pointed at her and asked Tran Dung, who is she? Why is she so arrogant? Tron Dung pulled me aside and whispered, "I can't control this. I heard she got in through the back door. She has a very strong backing. I don't dare to touch her." I was furious, and it took me several hours to find out Lam Thursday Y's background. It turned out that she was the girlfriend of the grandson of old Zone Tam. No wonder she was stuffed into the head office. But then again, if Lam Thursday Y marries the grandson of old Zone Tam, won't I have to call her sister-in-law in the future? No way. I have to find a way to sabotage it. I stood up and poured a cup of coffee, still thinking about how to deal with Lam Thursday Y, when I saw Xiao Wan, Tam Chi Van's assistant, come out, with Lena from the HR department beside her. Lena looked furious and slammed her cup on the table. I hate people with connections the most. What's so special about that Lam Thursday Y? She became the assistant to the general manager as soon as she came. You've worked so hard for so many years, but you end up with the same treatment as a little girl who came from nowhere. Just thinking about it makes me angry. Xiao Wan's face was extremely ugly, and she sighed. What can we do? Who told her to have a background? Lena continued, look at her arrogant attitude. You'd think she was the boss. The two of them finished pouring coffee, said a few more words, and then left, completely unaware of my existence. It seems that Lam Thursday Y offended old employees everywhere as soon as she arrived. This kind of person, who climbs high and looks down on everyone now, shouldn't blame everyone for pushing her when she falls later. Back at my seat, Xiao Wan sent me an email reminding me to attend the upcoming company meeting. The main purpose of this meeting was to summarize the first 3 quarters of the year and announce my promotion to Deputy General Manager of the company. When the meeting started, the person next to Tam Chi Van had changed from Xiao Wan to Lam Thursday Y, and Xiao Wan was pushed to a farther corner. However, compared to Xiao Wan, Lam Thursday Y's expression seemed even worse. She would occasionally glance at Tam Chi Van, and there was even some fear in her eyes. What's going on? Could it be that she had met Tam Chi Van before? Maybe not only met, but also had a grudge, which is why she was so scared. After the meeting ended, I cautiously asked Tam Chi Van. She said she didn't know Lam Thursday Y, and today was the first time they met. This is really strange. To get to the bottom of things, after work, I stopped Lam Thursday Y and dragged her to a corner with few people. Get out of my way. Hua Benin, don't think you're so great now that you're the Deputy General Manager. I'm the girlfriend of Zone Tam's grandson. I just need to say one word and I can make you lose your job. She directly threw her bag at me, which I caught and then threw on the ground. Lam Thursday Y, I still have your weakness in my hands. I advise you not to be too arrogant. What weakness? Her eyes dodged, and she took 2 steps back. I pretended to be confident and calmly said 3 words, Tam, Tri, Van. Hearing this name, her whole body trembled as if she had been electrocuted. She grabbed my arm and threatened, you were also involved in that incident back then. If she finds out, you won't be able to escape either. So, you won't tell her, right? What did I do? Why don't I remember anything? I continued to set the trap. She gripped my arm tightly, using a little force. It doesn't matter if you didn't do anything, but I won't say that. I can tell her that you were the one who sent those thugs to bully her back then. Your purpose was to play the hero and save the beauty. Because you knew her family was rich, you deliberately approached her. And I was just a poor person who was threatened by you because of our childhood friendship. My mind exploded, and long-buried memories came flooding back. The image of the girl in my memory gradually became clear. Foxy eyes, fair skin, a mole under the corner of her eye, and a small canine tooth that only showed when she smiled. The girl's young face coincided with Tam Chi Van's face, every detail matched. Fate is so ironic. The girl I saved that year turned out to be my girlfriend. Realizing this, I grabbed Lam Thursday Y and continued, your words are full of loopholes. If I was the one who found those thugs, then why did they sue me later, almost sending me to jail? This was obviously all planned by you. You said Tam Chi Van was your competitor and told me to stop her from participating in the competition no matter what. After I refused, you found those thugs. If I hadn't happened to pass by that day, Tam Chi Van would have been finished. All of this was done by you. After listening, a mocking smile appeared on the corner of Lam Thursday Wyeth's mouth. So what if it was me? What can you do to me? Do you think Tam Chi Van will believe you or me, the person who is about to become her sister-in-law? If you dare to talk nonsense, believe it or not, I'll make you get lost immediately. It seems like she thought I wouldn't dare to expose her. She gave me a smug look and turned to leave. But it's okay, what I want is for her to tell the truth herself. I took out my mobile phone from my pocket, saved the recording just now, and then turned and went back to the office. I want to see how long she can keep jumping around. During lunch break, I invited Tam Chi Van to the French restaurant downstairs of the company for lunch. She affectionately held my arm and even stuck her head out to see if anyone from the company was there, like a little girl protecting her beloved toy. My heart skipped a beat, as if I had been suddenly struck. Could it be that she knew about it a long time ago? Is that why she took the initiative to pursue me? Halfway through the meal, I finally couldn't help it anymore and asked, Tam Chi Van. Have we known each other for a long time? She froze for a moment and chuckled. It seems someone has remembered something. Hua Benin from the 10th grade. It really is like that. But why didn't she tell me directly when I first came to the company, but waited so many years to confess to me? I asked the question, and she quickly gave an answer. Why not? I hinted at you, but your stupid brain didn't understand me. She became angrier as she spoke, her cheeks puffed out. At first I thought you didn't like me, and I wondered why I should bring up those things. It wasn't until later when you asked me to call you baby that I had the courage to confess to you. Actually, I've liked you for a long time. I've liked you since you saved me. I couldn't hold back my emotions anymore. I stood up and hugged her tightly. Tam Chi Van, I will protect you well. From now on, I will protect you forever. She blinked at me. You want to be my bodyguard? How long can you protect me? For a lifetime? I smiled and touched her head. Yes, for a lifetime. After talking to each other, I played the recording for Tam Chi Van and explained the whole story. The two of us compared the information we had and found that Lam Thursday Y had been lying blatantly. She had pretended to be the daughter of the Lam group, because Mr. and Mrs. Lam really did have a daughter who often lived abroad. Very few people in the country knew about the Lam family's daughter, and she had actually managed to deceive people. Tam Chi Van thought for a moment and said to me, "This is easy to handle. The 6th of next month is my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. We'll ask someone to invite Mr. and Mrs. Lam and their daughter to come. They are all people in the business world. They will definitely give us this face." Hearing about the 50th wedding anniversary party of Tam Chi Van's parents, I felt a little scared again. Then, should I go to this party? Tam Chi Van pinched my ear, her tone arrogant. Why? You don't want to go? Then I'll take someone else. Anyway, I have money. There are plenty of obedient little brothers. I raised my hand, trying to salvage some dignity. Oh, then I guess I'll just have to reluctantly go. The 50th wedding anniversary party of Tam Chi Van's parents was attended by many distinguished guests, and people were coming and going in a constant stream. Tam Chi Van dragged me in front of her parents. I lowered my head and didn't dare to speak, but unexpectedly, Mother Tam was the first to speak. Oh, so this is Xiao Hua. Our whole family, from old to young, has been mentioning you. The older generation praises you for working hard and having a business mind. The younger generation says more, as if you're a hero saving the world. Today I finally get to see the real person. After Mother Tam finished speaking, Tam Chi Van was the first to be unhappy. I didn't say that. Mom, don't talk nonsense. Father Tam also nodded in agreement. Yeah, I think he's just average. If he wants to marry my daughter, he'll have to see how he performs in the future. Mother Tam glared at them and held my hand comfortingly. Don't listen to them. They both have sharp tongues, but soft hearts. You'll know after you get married. I know you're capable. We'll leave the family business to you and Xiao Van when we get old. I nodded in agreement, and Mother Tam was relieved and let Tam Chi Van take me for a walk. After 2 rounds, Tam Chi Van suddenly wanted to go to the bathroom and told me to wait for her there. I was free, so I ate 2 pieces of cake and looked directly at Lam Thursday Y, who was holding Tam Dain's arm and walking towards me arrogantly. She glanced at me, her tone full of sarcasm. Oh, isn't this Deputy General Manager Hua? Why didn't you bring your girlfriend and are eating cake here alone? Ah, that's right, a high-class party like this. I guess you've never seen it before, right? Tam Dain knew my position in the company and smiled awkwardly at me, pulling Lam Thursday Y to leave. Lam Thursday Y didn't understand his meaning and wanted to continue. What's wrong? Why are you pulling me? He's just an employee of your family, what can't be said? The people around looked at her and started whispering. Whose daughter is this? Why is she so uneducated? I think she's the girlfriend of Zong Tam's grandson. Doesn't the Tam family have a daughter? A grandson, who doesn't even have any shares, is so arrogant. Lam Thursday Y saw everyone looking at her and immediately got angry. She patted Tam Dain's arm and said, look at what they're saying about you. Go tell your uncle to fire Hua Benin. Go on, go. Who wants to fire Hua Benin? Did you ask my opinion? Everyone's eyes were drawn to this voice, and they all looked back. Tam Chi Van walked out of the crowd, her 2'8" aura instantly stunned everyone. She took my arm and said with a gentle smile, Hua Benin is my boyfriend, and he will manage the company with me in the future. Whoever wants to fire him should first think about whether they have the right to do so. As soon as the words left her mouth, the whole hall was in an uproar, followed by cheers of congratulations. Lam Thursday Y stood there frozen, her face full of disbelief. You two are together? Yes, we are together. Tam Chi Van glared at her, then looked at Tam Dain. Brother, take care of your girlfriend. On such a solemn occasion, she only knows how to go out and embarrass herself. Tam Dain smiled awkwardly. She is the daughter of the Lam family after all. I thought she understood these etiquettes. That's why I brought her here. Daughter of the Lam group, I'm afraid not necessarily, right? I pointed towards the villa door. The real daughter of the Lam family should be over there. As soon as the words left my mouth, the appearance of the Lam family immediately attracted everyone's attention. Many people rushed over to flatter them, and Father and Mother Tam also went out to greet them. Tam Dain looked at the Lam family's daughter, who was well-mannered and gentle, and only then did he understand what was going on. He swung his arm and threw off Lam Thursday Y's hand. Lam Thursday Y. Didn't you say you were the daughter of the Lam family? Then tell me, who is that person over there? Lam Thursday Y's eyes dodged. I don't know. Maybe she's the one who's pretending. Tam Dain was even angrier. You're still lying to me at this point? Could her parents not recognize their own daughter? You're saying such nonsense. Do you even believe it yourself? After saying that, Tam Dain threw off her hand and left, running to make friends with the real daughter of the Lam family, leaving only Lam Thursday Y to endure everyone's ridicule. It seemed like she was still not reconciled, and she looked at me with resentment in her eyes. She suddenly ran up to Tam Chi Van and grabbed her hand to accuse her. Tam Chi Van, I have something to tell you. Actually, Hua Benin was the one who bullied you back then. All of this was planned by him. Before she could finish speaking, Tam Chi Van threw off her hand and played the recording. Really? Then listen to what you said yourself. The recording was played on speaker, and Lam Thursday Y's voice quickly spread throughout the party. Her eyes widened, and she stood there in despair. The commotion here was so loud that it alerted Father and Mother Tam. After asking around, they found out that Lam Thursday Y was the one who almost harmed Tam Chi Van back then. They immediately ordered people to arrest her and even wanted to investigate the incident again. By the time Lam Thursday Y reacted, the police car had arrived. She was so scared that she fainted and was carried to the police station. After everything calmed down, Tam Chi Van took me back to our high school, saying she wanted to reminisce about the past. We took advantage of the night when no one was around and sneaked over the wall. The big yellow dog at the gate chased us for a while, but in the end, it was coaxed by Tam Chi Van with a sausage. We looked at each other, panting, and Tam Chi Van patted her chest and said with a smile, "Ah Huang is so heartless, he doesn't recognize me after a few years." Fortunately, he's old now. If it were before, we would definitely have been caught by him. I helped her pat her back and laughed along. That's right, whatever baby says is right. We strolled around the school, and when we passed by the basketball court, she suddenly pulled me down and told me to close my eyes, saying she had a surprise for me. I obediently closed my eyes, and when I opened them again, I saw her taking out an album from her bag, filled with pictures of me. "Look at this one, taken on the basketball court. Isn't it handsome?" She pointed to the basketball hoop and winked at me proudly. "And this one was taken when you were reading, this one when you were sleeping, and this one. She flipped through the album, introducing it to me as if she were showing off a treasure. Under each photo, it was drawn with colored pencils, and even the mood of that day was written. Hua Benin is my hero, he is so handsome. I like him so much, but how should I confess? I don't know. Secretly follow him and find a chance to throw myself at him. Forget it, I don't dare, I'll just take pictures." She saw me reading the small words below, let out a cry, and covered the album, not letting me see anymore, her face flushing red, even her earlobes were red. I looked into her eyes, my heart beating faster than I could imagine. She suddenly threw herself into my arms, leaned close to my ear, and whispered, "Hua Benin, actually, I've liked you for a long time, for a very long time. Do you like me?" I reached out and hugged her back, holding her tightly in my arms, my voice filled with tenderness. "I like you. Tam Chi Van, actually, I've liked you for a long time too, you just didn't know." She rubbed against me contentedly and asked coquettishly, "Then how long will you like me for?" "Well, let's start with a lifetime."